Hi all, it's Rambler here with a rambly video about the ending to Undertale, specifically the ending where you go for the No Mercy playthrough that I did when I finished the game on my Let's Play. And the reason why I'm doing this is simply because it turns out that after I finished the game and said my thoughts about the ending and stuff, I wanted to stress that the ending to me was quite long. But somebody pointed out, I think it was Dooge, who said that maybe because I was trying to compress the video into an hour long or an hour and a half long, the fact that it went on for 2 hours just got to me. And therefore, although the ending in itself is actually really good and full of detail and quite emotional, because I was filming it, I let the time constraint get to me. And therefore, I complained about the ending being too long. And I can see some sense in that. That's a good point raised. And I believe that there is a valid citation of that. In other words, yes, I do believe that that was a factor which got me a bit stressed about the ending. But having said that, though, I still think the ending to the Mercy playthrough was a bit long. I didn't actually hate the ending itself, just the length of it. That's all. So I thought in this little rambly video, I just thought I'd stress that. Not that it will appease anybody who disliked the video or anything, in terms of the fact that, they were like, oh, you overanalyzed everything. Oh, the ending was pretty rubbish. Yeah, I did. But, I overanalyze anyway. That's just how I naturally go. So you just have to take it or leave it on that one. But yeah, I still stand by my comments that the ending was very long. I really just wanted the game to end at one point, because I was just like, okay, we've beaten Asriel in his weird sort of mix your friends up form that looked like Toriel, blah, 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 blah. And, now we found out about all the stuff that had happened, why Flowey came to be and all that sort of stuff. And then eventually the monsters and yourself go up, onto the surface, and then they, I said yes to being an ambassador for them to get them to live okay, and that's that. So again, it wasn't a bad ending. It was a good ending. It just went on for a bit too long, for my liking anyway, even though I was recording it and the time pressure was there, which I can admit would have played a part in my annoyance of it. I still think even if I was playing the game by myself, I would have been slightly annoyed. Probably not as annoyed as I was LPing it, but I still would have been annoyed a little bit nonetheless. I don't like things being dragged out too much. If I believe I understand the point and I believe I've got the ending and I've had the impact it's had already, because everybody's different. Everybody reacts to endings of stories differently. I get that. For me personally, if it feels like it's being stretched out, then I get annoyed, because I'm just like, yeah, okay, I get it now. Okay, yeah, you can end now. Okay, yeah, I've had all that. Yep, I get it. Really good ending game. Absolutely fantastic. Or book or movie or whatever. Can we just end now, please? Really? You're still going on? Okay, fine. Well, with anything extra to add that I really think will add to the ending? No, not really. No, it's just reinforcing the ending's message or what have you. Yeah, I get it. Okay, can we end now? Oh my God, why are you not ending? Why have I got to know about all this now? All right, I'll give it. It's too long. I don't care. I've finished the game. In my mind, it's done. It's over. I'm happy. Please just go away now. I'm happy. But that's just me. Like I said, a lot of people who have commented like the ending for how long it was and also the impact of it. Although a couple of people did say that they sort of agreed with me in that it was a little bit too long. But I didn't find it that cheesy, and I didn't find it that sort of cliche or anything. It is, but I didn't have that as an issue with the ending. I thought the ending itself was good. I just thought it went on for a bit too long. That's all I wanted to stress. But anyway, there you go. So I've rambled on about that. The other thing I want to ramble about the ending wise is I did misunderstand, or I was confused as to the whole Flowey Asriel connection. I basically got the gist that Flowey was Asriel, but I still wasn't quite clear on this Hidler character. I mean, that's the name that I gave the fallen human. Now, somebody pointed out to me that I didn't actually name my character. I actually named the fallen human. And I remember as soon as I read that comment, I thought, oh yeah, when the game started, it said, name the fallen human. Now, if you're new to the game, of course you're going to assume it's your character, because they have fallen, they have landed, and they are human. They're above the surface. The game states that the humans and the monsters had a war. The humans won and put all the monsters underground. Okay, so when it says name the fallen human, it's logical to assume that it's referring to you. But I believe what it meant was actually the fallen human, as in not only was it the first human who fell, that was with Asriel, which was Hitler, but also the human that died underground, the fallen human. And therefore that does make a bit of sense. I still think, though, that, you know, just based on that one line at the beginning that said name the fallen human, it's a bit of a flimsy connection. But I know it probably is what Toby Fox wanted you to, you know, to think initially, and then his reasoning was, yeah, you didn't name your character, you named Hitler, it was in the description, name the fallen human. I could see where he was coming from, I believe, anyway, but I still think it's a bit flimsy. Like, it could have been a little bit more watertight, and therefore I'd have gone, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Whereas fallen human was a bit, I took it quite literally. Of course, people differently from me can probably take it a bit more figuratively, etc. But no, I just thought, fair enough, I get it, but I wasn't that impressed with that bit. I was just impressed that when we were in the labs, Alphys's labs with the weird creatures and all that, when we watched the videotapes, that did throw me through a loop when it kept referring to Hitler. I was like, oh, is this real life? Are we in a coma or something? But no, it just turns out that Hitler was somebody else, and that Asriel was oh god, what was the word? I remember what the word was, and I can't remember what it was. Damn, Asriel was projecting, that's it, projecting Hitler on us, because we look similar in terms of the clothes and size and what have you. Because, you know, all humans look similar and wear similar clothes. But still, anyway. So I got that. I guessed that in the video, and I did call that, which I was quite pleased with. But, yeah, apparently, you know, Hitler that I named wasn't referring to me, it was referring to that. And I was fine with that. You know, I like I said, I still think it was a bit of a flimsy connection, but at the same time, the game does explain to you Hitler's role in the story as being the first fallen human down there. I think it was the first fallen human anyway, as far as I'm aware. Asriel found him, or her, I think. And, yeah, they formed a connection. But apparently Hitler was quite vengeful and hateful towards humans. I don't think he was necessarily hateful towards monsters. Otherwise, obviously, he wouldn't have stayed with Asriel. But he was quite hatred towards humans. So, you know, that would explain why Flowey at the end is quite, to kill everything. But yeah, what I wanted to stress about, sorry, I went off on a tangent. What I wanted to stress about was Flowey. I misunderstood Flowey quite a bit. Apparently, as far as I'm aware from reading your comments and piecing things together, what it was the flower, the golden flower in the first place that was growing underground and started in Asgore's garden, or where Asgore was living, actually came from the surface. Didn't actually come from underground. So the flower is actually from the human surface world. I say human world, that's a bit racist or whatever. You know, the surface world, sorry, I'll rephrase that, the surface world. And, okay, fair enough, makes sense. And apparently, I don't know who brought it back. I think it was Asriel who brought it back, the natural son of Asgore and Toriel. I think it was Asriel that brought it back. I think he ventured up onto the surface either to get Hitler, or it was during the fight between monsters and humans, where I imagine Asgore and Toriel were up there with all the other monsters, that when they were going underground, he took a flower and took it with him, type thing. I think it was something along those lines. I'm probably wrong, but basically I believe it was Asriel who got the flower down there in the first place. But again, you can correct me in the comment section of this video if so. But okay, fair enough. So that happened. And then when Hitler fell and was down there and stayed with Asriel, blah, 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 eventually Hitler died. And I believe it was something to do with Hitler committing suicide by eating the seeds of the flowers, because apparently the seeds of the flowers were poisonous, and Hitler just committed suicide by eating the seeds, because the seeds stick to whoever's on them or nearby them. And I think that's how Hitler died. I'm not 100% sure. I was reading it and I was just like, where was that in the game? I don't remember seeing that in the game. Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. So Hitler died, somebody or people or monsters were force feeding him flowers, or he was, or she was, I don't know, something along the lines of flowers equal suicide for Hitler. And Asriel didn't like it, I think, or he got very upset about it, because he did miss Hitler, he missed Hitler's presence. And then when Asriel died, I can't remember how he died or why he died. Again, let me know, remind me how he died, I forget. When he died, just like with all monsters in the game, and this was mentioned in the library, and I think down in Alphys's lab as well, when monsters die, they turn to dust, and the dust is scattered over wherever it is they died. And apparently the tradition goes, and I do vaguely remember this, that when a monster dies and they turn to dust, the dust, if found, is returned to the family for them to bury or scatter, etc. And the thing about Alphys in the lab with the monsters she was experimenting on them and injecting the dust with determination, or was it just injecting living things? The things that I think it was the dust from the dead monsters that scattered over whatever objects they scattered on or landed on. She either injected the dust or injected this objects with determination, and that was supposed to rouse the monster's soul sort of back to life in a way, for this whole idea of fusing human souls and monster souls together to break the barrier so the monsters can go back up on the surface. Because that's what Asgore commissioned Alphys to do as the royal scientist. So I believe when Asriel died, his dust scattered over the golden flowers in Asgore's garden, which somehow also had Hidler's essence in them, I think. I could be wrong there. And then, because I do remember in the last fight, after Asriel turns back into the son of Asriel the Spirit, he explains that Flowey wasn't just him, it was also the hatred towards humans and monsters, or humans or living things in general, from Hidler as well. And that Asriel was sort of like trying to control it but not, and maybe he succumbed to it in the Flowey formation. It wasn't all completely Asriel Flowey, it was a combination of Hidler and Asriel together. But it could be that Asriel was the dominating force in Flowey, but was influenced by Hidler's past or essence or something like that. Anyway, like I said, I'll leave you guys understand it better than they. I think that's something along those lines. But anyway, what it is Flowey, when Asriel died, his dust was scattered over the flowers, and then Alphys had some flowers in the lab. We saw that, and actually wrote a diary entry to say that Alphys injected determination into flowers. Curiously enough, to say, well, what happens if I inject determination into something that's neither monster or human, such as a flower? And it didn't work out well, and also the seeds kept sticking to Alphys and she didn't like it, so she disbanded the whole idea. But it's possible that the flower that she did inject determination into was the flower that Asriel's dust was scattered on, and also had Hidler's essence in it. And therefore, that's why it turned into Flowey, the essence that could, do more than what monsters and humans could do, and also had a vengeful hatred against monsters and humans and wanted to sort of join the world together, or destroy it altogether or something like that. But anyway, I think that's Flowey. And I didn't quite fully understand it. I might still not fully understand it. I'm not going to do another video on the ending after this one. I'm just trying to show you guys and girls that I'm trying to piece it together. So I think that's what happened. And then at the end, Asriel explained it all, and then, I don't know if his spirit or essence was fading away because he no longer had the other 6 human souls. That's it. The other, I think it was also Asriel, no, not Asriel, Hidler, the fallen human, committed suicide by eating the seeds of the flowers because they were poisonous, to then help harvest the 6 human souls or 7 human souls needed to do the barrier ritual with the human souls in a monster soul. I think it was something along those lines. So yeah, it is cryptic. I have to say. I mean, whenever I play a game story driven for the first time, I never pick everything up first time, and I don't think I'm the only person out there who, if they've played Undertale for the first time, would have picked everything up either. And from the comments I was reading, people have said, "Oh, I've needed some videos to explain it, or just rewatch those ending bits again so I can pick up all the information I missed or didn't take in." So I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm just saying, well, I've only played it once. That's what I got. But I do want to just let you guys and girls know that I'm trying to understand it. Because I'm probably never going to play the game again on Mercy Mode. I am going to do the Genocide run, but I'm not going to play it again after Mercy Mode. But there are, I might go and check out some more videos. Some of you offered me some links to videos that I need to still watch, just to remind me of things, so I'll do that. But right now, I just wanted to do this because I've come home from work and I'm having a beer and I want to get some videos out and blah blah blah. But yeah, I that's what I think happened, and I. Aside from all that, it made sense. It was still good. I still got the gist of it, even though now it's been explained to me in more detail. It still hasn't changed my opinion on the ending being good, because it was. I just think it was stretched out a bit. But then again, everyone's different. I I was just under time pressure, as you know, but also I don't like stretched out endings. I like them to be not like short, snappy, that's it, the end, but just a bit shorter than what Undertale gave us on the Mercy playthrough. But apparently, a final thing to note, actually, that I can remember off the top of my head, is when you go up onto the surface and, the monsters were all there and they go off in their separate ways, etc. And then Toriel turns to you and says, what are you going to do now? And you've got the choice to stay with Toriel or just go out and check out some places. If I'd have said go out and check out some places, then apparently at the end, rather than see us in bed with Toriel sneaking in the pie and then leaving, we would have seen pictures of us with our friends, apparently, in different places. Which, fair enough, is cool. I imagine it was going to be different if you'd have chosen that option. But I like the Toriel ending, because for me, I do like some stories that come round full circle, if that makes sense. It just kind of, for me, seems quite fitting, that's all. Because I quite like Toriel, and I didn't mind Frisk staying with her. It's just I didn't want to stay underground. But now we're on the surface, where it's bigger and more outstretched, the opportunities are boundless, it just makes more sense. And it makes Toriel happy as well, even though Toriel and Sans were connecting and all that. So yeah, but that's what I chose. But yeah, I get it. The other ending, if people prefer the other choice, then fine. It's still cool. But that's what I wanted to choose. I just like that sort of full circle ending. It felt right for this particular story. I mean, when I played Life is Strange, I didn't go for the full circle ending in that one, where, you choose to go back in time and you know what happens. I ended up choosing the other option and saying, no, sod it, let's just live with this timeline. And I preferred that, because when anything to do with time travel, I don't like time travel stories where, the timeline's reset, or, oh, the whole point of this time travel escapade is to teach you that you can't time travel because you'll just mess things up. You just have to accept things as they are. What's the bloody point then of giving us time travel in the first place? I know it's supposed to be like a comforting sort of thought that, oh, well, people always wish, I wish I can go back in time and change this. And I guess it's just a way of saying, well, even if you could, you'd still mess it up type thing, because it's just not allowed. I get that, but I just find that a bit depressing. I just think, no, if you can time travel, then there has to be a way to change time for your own benefit without messing completely everything up. That's how I feel. But anyway, that's up for a completely different debate, and it's got nothing to do with this video. But other than that, I liked Undertale. I love the ending in terms of its content. I like the credits where you got all the characters and showing you, what they were doing afterwards. That was pretty cool. Oh, actually, yeah, that reminds me. At the end, when they had all of the special thanks and you had the names turn up and you could highlight them if you wanted with your soul. Apparently, you can dodge all of those, and if you do dodge all of those, so in other words, your count at the end is 0 when they list you the names that you caught in yellow. If you get them all as 0 and therefore you dodge them all, you get a secret key to a locked door and somewhere in Snowdon. Didn't know that, so I've missed out on that. So I have been given a video to watch, which I will do before I do the genocide run, about what that key unlocks or anything, but I'm sure it's just another Easter egg, so I'm not too bummed about missing it, because obviously, again, first time playing it, when you're doing that bit at the end with the credits and the special thanks and you dodging them, no one's going to dodge them all first time. Just no one. If you did, you're very lucky or very skilled at games, and if you are, fair play to you, congratulations. I'm not knocking your skill, I'm just saying it's, to me, unlikely, but if you did, kudos to you. I tap on my beer can in satisfaction. But yeah, but other than that, that's it really. That's just all I wanted to say about the ending of the game. It was good. I enjoyed it. I really do like Undertale, and I really think it is one of the best games of all time, but I won't put it as highly as some people are saying. Some people have told me, oh, I'll put it in my top 3, top 5, etc. That's cool. I have to stress here that I'm from a generation that's older. Not oldest. I wasn't there since the beginning of video games. I was introduced during the 90s with the Mega Drive, so I'm sort of like second, third generation of gamers, I guess. I don't know how they sorted out in terms of generations, but I'm an older generation compared to a lot of people who watch this channel. No, that's a lie, actually. No, I'm older than about a few people who watch this channel then. I won't say half of them, because that's not right. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I have played a lot of games. When I was a kid, I played a lot of games, but I didn't always play the mainstream ones. I played a lot of, not either knockoffs, or when I say knockoffs, I don't mean fake games. I mean, games that were like a knockoff of another game, even though they were official games for said console. They were just like a rip-off of a mainstream game. I played a lot of those and enjoyed them, but I got a lot of the story influences and mechanics from them, but I don't seem to forget them. As an analytical person, I start seeing the same patterns and tropes in really successful games over and over and over again, which isn't a bad thing. Like I said, it's enjoyable, but that's why I overanalyze, because I've seen it before and for some reason it sticks in my mind. And then when it comes up again, I'm like, I see. I've done that before. I'm not saying I'm right every time, of course not, but I just have to nitpick it. It's just a habit. It's instinct. It just feels like I don't forget those experiences, and I don't forget the impact they had on me at the time, and I don't forget all of the lessons that I've learned from them, or all of the wisdom or philosophies that the endings gave to said games did. But then again, because I didn't play the mainstream ones like Legend of Zelda or Mario, or all of the Final Fantasy games until very recently, in retrospect, I didn't grow up with those. I just grew up with really bizarre games. I have missed out on that. So when I start playing them and catching up with them, I'm just not as wowed by them as everybody was back then. Because A, I wasn't wowed by them in the first place because I never played them in the first place, and B, I just see some of the tropes in these games that I've seen in other older, maybe more obscure games. But it's not the fault of the main game itself. I just came at it from a different angle. That's all. So I've just done it the opposite. I've done it backwards. So rather than follow the mainstream games, then play obscure games on the side, third-party games that try to mimic those, and you think, oh yeah, this is just mimicking Zelda. Oh yeah, this is just mimicking Tekken. Oh yeah, this is just mimicking whatever. I actually play the alternative games, the rip-off games, or the third-party games that are based on that first, and then go play the mainstream games, and then go, oh yeah, I saw that in that. Oh yeah, I saw that in that. Oh yeah, and then you're like, yeah, but Neo, where did it come from before? Oh yeah. So yeah, so sorry about that. I have taken a completely opposite approach to what everybody's done in gaming, but I don't regret it. I enjoy it, and it is what it is. So I just have to work with it as best I can. So there you go. Anyway, I've rambled on for far too long. I wanted to keep this video under 20 minutes, and I've already broken that. So all I'm going to say is, if you have listened to this, thank you very much for doing so. Please, 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 in the comment section below, just stress any extra bits I've missed out of the ending of Undertale, and any bits I've got wrong, or clarify bits again. I will read it, and then after this, I'm going to start the genocide run for Undertale, which I've been told many things about already. Not the story, but just bits I need to do and make sure I'm doing as I'm playing it. Because apparently it's quite pernickety. You've got to get things absolutely spot on. There's very little room for F-up. If you do F it up, then there's not a lot you can do except restart the game again. And somebody's given me a guide on it, like a non-spoilery guide, which I'm going to have a quick look at. But the main thing I seem to have learnt is I must kill all the enemies, or at least one type of every enemy in every room, as you proceed to then carry on the genocide ending. So something like that. Apparently we'll also reveal more about the Undertale lore and the Undertale world, which would be interesting. And apparently the ending to the genocide playthrough is much shorter than the Mercy one, which kind of makes sense really, because if everybody's dead, then there's not really a lot to stretch out really, is there? Unless you're sick. But there you go. So yeah, anyway, can I say again, thank you very much for listening to this. If you have done, I'm going to finish this now, so take it easy, have a good one, hope you're all well, and I will see you in a proper video very soon. Bye for now.